Welcome into Giants Postgame Wrap-Up presented by Mercedes-Benz, the official luxury automobile of the New York Football Giants. I'm Madelyn Burke here with Super Bowl champion Victor Cruz. And Victor, Giants went out to Soldier Field, a 17-13 loss to the Bears, just one play away from winning this game. First impressions of this one?
Yeah, it's a tough loss for the Giants on this one. Obviously, a tale of two halves. They battled some injuries early on. Obviously, Saquon Barkley, which we'll get into in just a minute here. But second half, they really came out and fought. Defense came out and really battled, and just couldn't finish it off. Couldn't finish the comeback off, but sure was a great game to watch.
You mentioned Saquon Barkley. Second quarter, he went down with that knee injury. Ended up carted off the field. He's going to be evaluated more on Monday. Devastating loss for this Giants team.
Very much a devastating loss. Obviously, I've been there, and when you see the video of him immediately going down as we pull it up here, but when you see him immediately grab that right knee on the way down, you just, it doesn't give you a good sign. It doesn't give you a good feeling of the injury. But obviously, we're still waiting on the MRI and what it tells us. But judging from his face and his body language in that moment, he might miss a significant amount of time.
And pretty tough for this Giants team, too, who does kind of run the offense through Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a tough break for the Giants organization and the Giants team in general. Anything that Jason Garrett was looking to do offensively has to run through Saquon Barkley. So to potentially not have him for a number of weeks moving forward, we'll see what kind of creativity Jason Garrett's going to have to pull through and how he's going to get to these designed runs, so to speak, not having his, his franchise running back in the backfield.
Another injury, too, on the Giants' offensive side of the ball. Sterling Shepard went out with that toe injury.
Yeah, it's tough. It's a tough break for the Giants today. Obviously, as I mentioned, they battled some early injuries. But when you think it's to your one most tenured guy on your offense and on your team in Sterling Shepard, and then to your workhorse in Saquon Barkley, it's just tough. And I've been there as a receiver, battling those injuries, figuring it out. But just an overall tough day for the New York Giants, especially in that first half when they were trying to get some things going.
And off the top, Victor, you mentioned this. This game was a tale of two halves. That first half was a little rough for this Giants team. Second half, they were in it. What adjustments did this team make at halftime?
Well, I think the defense showed up. And when you see them having some turnovers and having some things and some opportunistic plays go their way, I think that just bodes in favor of the entire team. It infuses and injects energy in the entire team. And then Daniel Jones just coming out, making some throws. I think some bright spots was Evan Ingram kind of showed up a little bit in those plays. Daniel Jones just being an athlete, flicking the ball out here to Dion Lewis and getting it done and getting the necessary yardage they needed there. Daniel Jones just found ways to make plays throughout this game, especially in the second half. So there's a couple things you can hang your hat on during this time.
Yeah, Robert Quinn taking Daniel Jones down there. He gets creative, flips it to Dion Lewis, who runs for that first down and really kind of saves that drive that went on. And DJ kind of continued using his athleticism in that drive and used his feet again.
Yeah, obviously we know Daniel Jones to be an accurate passer, but one of the things that kind of goes unnoticed is his legs. Here he is on it, using his legs to get the first down. Obviously picks up some additional yardage with the penalty on there for an unnecessary roughness. So that helps. Obviously, when Daniel Jones is going to use his legs and be a threat, it's always good for the team. And obviously, he might have to do that a little bit more, maybe have some more design runs for Daniel Jones now that Saquon may be out.
And this drive was really pivotal in this game. And as you can see here, we'll pull it up. They capped it off at 4th and goal at the 1-yard line, Victor.
Yeah, this is huge. It brings it to 17-10, brings them, even closer, just within a score of tying the ball game up. Obviously, in the fourth quarter, they had the momentum. You felt good about this team. You felt like they were going to rally, and it came down to the very end.
Yeah, Dion Lewis just punching it through there, getting into that end zone, getting the Giants the first touchdown of the game. Unfortunately for Big Blue, it really came down to that final drive, that final play. First of all, we got to go through this final drive because we were holding our breath for a lot
100%.
of it. We got to start with this huge gain from Evan Ingram right here.
Yeah, Evan Ingram, he's been one of those spots that you look at this year, right? Especially for me, if Evan Ingram can be the type of athlete that we see here making plays, making big gains, it could really change the dynamic of this entire football team. I was saying that in the beginning of the season, and now during that stretch in the fourth quarter, it was good to see him kind of get warmed up and Daniel Jones looking for him to make those big plays because now, like I said, with Saquon, another pass catcher, Saquon does so much for this football team. Evan Ingram is going to be asked to do so much more.
Evan Ingram grabs that ball and runs for another 10 yards a yak. Really huge gain for the Giants as they march down the field. They get close, though, and they're in 4-down territory here. This is a big play on 4th and 4.
Huge play right here to get the first down. It was a extremely well thought out play, well called play, kind of getting into those open spaces. You saw that they were just backing up as a defense, the Chicago Bears were, keeping everything front of them. So it was a really good play call, good play design to get right over the ball on one of those shallow routes to get them the ball quick, get down, get the most yardage you can.
And this final play, 4 seconds left in the game. Giants on 4th down, 4th and 1. What do you see here, Vic?
What a heartbreaker. Obviously, you see, Golden Tate, the guy that understands how to play this game, how to get himself open, how to create space. Maybe just created a little bit too much space, pushing off a little bit there, and obviously got called for it at the very end of the game. It's just a tough break. The Giants fought so hard to scratch and claw and get back into this football game, and to lose on a very last play like that, it's a tough way to go out.
Yeah, it's tough indeed. They fought, they got back in there. That offensive pass interference call was a heartbreaker for the Giants. Coming up after the break, though, we're going to hear from head coach Joe Judge and what he thinks about this game. And for the latest game highlights and analysis, download the Giants mobile app on your device's app store. Welcome back to Giants Postgame Wrap-Up presented by Mercedes-Benz. The Giants went out to Chicago and fell to the Bears 17-13 at Soldier Field. We'll now send it out to head coach Joe Judge, who's addressing the media, presented by Toyota, the official vehicle of the New York Giants.
Guys, I appreciate you hanging on a couple minutes. I want to talk to a few of our players before coming in here. I'm a little bit slow at the locker room, so that'll probably be a running theme going forward forever. Listen, just to kind of sum up the game right now as far as the feeling, obviously we played a good team today. We can't give a team like that extra opportunities. We can't give them short fields. You know, teams like that are going to make the most of it. They're well coached. They're very talented. They have explosive players. They have a good pass rush. And they have opportunistic DBs that we allowed to make plays. That being said, I'm very proud of the way our team fought. I'm very proud of the way they finished the game in the second half. Our defense going out there, not giving up any points. Our offense going out there and moving the ball down the field and taking advantage of situations. I thought the 2-minute drive at the end was very telling of the fight we had. And at the end, with the penalty, obviously that's something we got to clean up, and we can't shoot ourselves in the foot. So, again, you can church up that language right there in the quotes, Jordan. But at that point, I'll open it for questions.
Zach?
Hey, Joe. Obviously, the thing on everybody's mind is about Saquon going down, hurting his knee. I'm just curious if there's anything you could update us with that, and how much of a blow is that? A guy like him was obviously such an important part of your offense going down as early as he did like that.
Well, I'd say first off, I thought the offense made really good adjustments to the game plan as we went for a number of reasons, one of which obviously being the injuries. In terms of Saquon individually, I don't have a diagnosis on his knee. He's going to see some doctors tomorrow. We'll wait and see what that is. Obviously, we're all praying for the best. I would just say this, regardless of whatever the outcome's going to be and what the doctors say tomorrow, I wouldn't fall asleep on 26. It's going to be a hell of a story either way.
Thanks, Joe.
Dunleavy?
Joe, how did you think Daniel managed the clock there at the end? I know he had no timeouts, but it seemed you guys were taking a lot of the underneath stuff and not any, shots downfield.
Well, I thought we had time to move the ball. Obviously I had to use the timeouts in the 4-minute aspect of it to make sure we had time when we got the ball back. That's a situation we practice regularly. I thought Daniel and the offense did a good job, put ourselves in a position, clocked it, we had to stop it. We got the passes out. We did a good job overall as far as moving the ball systematically down the field. And look, you're standing on the 10-yard line with, one play to go. That's really what you're working for in the 2-minute drills, just to give yourself an opportunity. I thought the way it was called was the right way. I thought the way our players executed, we converted some 3rd downs, a 4th down in there. We gave ourselves a chance. Obviously, we have to eliminate the penalty on the last play. But, Daniel did a good job extending the play, moving out of the pocket, giving himself a chance to find a throw. Obviously, look, it wasn't good enough because we didn't win the game. But it was something right there I thought we worked on that showed up.
Joe, 2 moments I'm wondering how you handled. One was when you had to carry Saquon over to the sideline, just what the emotions were during that time, and then how did you handle halftime? Because it did seem like your team really responded coming out of the half.
Well, I'll be honest with you, halftime was a lot like the practice you guys wrote about us restarting. We didn't come out here with the right kind of energy to start the game. It was a wake-up-and-go deal, and that starts with the coaches, okay? It starts with me. So we had to kind of restart ourselves a little bit there at halftime and make sure we came out understanding there's 30 more minutes of football and we're going to give ourselves an opportunity to win. In terms of carrying Saquon off the field, that was just simply he's a big dude, and I wanted to make sure we can get him over there with as least amount of stress on his leg as possible, and kind of just take the weight off it. You don't want to carry any player off the field.
Yeah, just any update on Shep?
Nothing officially. No, it looked like the defensive back landed on his foot at the end of the first half. He caught that big ball across the middle in that 2-minute sequence we had at the end of the first half, getting in field goal range. He tried to play through it. Obviously, it was something that he couldn't really run full speed on. So he'll also see the doctor. We'll see where he's at.
And then just defensively, how tough was it to stick with the sort of, kind of passive, you weren't rushing a lot of guys, weren't blitzing because it wasn't working early, but it seemed to come around.
Yeah, I mean, this team, obviously presents you with a lot of things you have to deal with. Whether you can rush 4 or 5 at times. You had to put some extra guys in coverage the way they were playing. The extended plays got us early. The touchdown on the first drive really resulted in an extended play by the quarterback, and then the same thing at the end of the half. We've got to make sure we finish, and that was part of the emphasis of keeping, an extra guy in coverage to really kind of watch the quarterback and try to eliminate some of those, extended plays. But in terms of just going ahead and rushing, whether it's rushing with 3, 4, or 5 at different times, I think we have the personnel that we're able to do some of that within the scheme. So these guys have to understand, what the scheme calls for. It's not always a sack situation. Just collapse in the pocket, put some pressure on guys. I thought they did a decent job overall. Obviously, there's some plays that we got to clean up on right there. We got to start a little bit better in the fourth quarter right there. That was something that kind of showed up early on. But the defense did a good job throughout the second half of kind of bend, don't break. That's not really a trademark we're looking for. The most important thing is points, defensively, and they stood up in the second half, and they were good in all the drives.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, Dan.
Chris?
Hey, Coach, with everything that happened in the first half with Barkley out, Shep goes down later on, the 2 turnovers by Jones, and then you find yourself in a position, you come down to the last play of the game. What does that tell you about your team right now? You know what?
We asked those guys today, we said we're going to find out a lot about ourselves. We came out at halftime, we said we're going to find a lot out about the team we are. You're down 17-0. What kind of team we're going to have. It's never about what happens to you, it's about how you respond to it. I like the way our guys responded. We've got the right guys. We've got the right kind of guys, okay? We've got to clean some things up. We've got to improve by not putting ourselves behind in games, by making mistakes that we can control. It starts with turnovers, penalties, and mental errors. Really, the mental errors we're good on today. We played a smart brand of football. We have some things we have to finish. But the turnovers, that's hard to overcome. The penalties, we didn't have a ton, but when you have them, they're always costly. So we've got to start with the things that we can control, and we have to play a good brand of football. In terms of the guys in the locker room, look, it's a tough, resilient group. It really is. It's a young team that's learning a lot, but they're learning a lot in these first 2 weeks about what we have to do as a team to capitalize on our opportunities. And we have to make sure we stop spotting opponents' opportunities to take advantage of our mistakes.
Victor, one of the things that stood out to me about what Coach Judge said is what he kind of finished on. He's proud of how this team fought, how they finished. He says he wanted to see what he had with this team, and he found out a lot about this Giants team. What have you learned from this Giants team, seeing what they've done through weeks 1 and 2?
Well, Coach kind of hinted at it, about them being resilient, about them coming out in the second half, no matter how much adversity was placed against them, no matter how many things set them back, whether it was injuries or not getting any points on the board or having some stalls both offensively and defensively. I think they showed that resilience that he's talking about. He had that conversation with them at halftime and showed them and told them that this isn't over. We still have to fight. We're going to figure out a lot about ourselves within this game. And I think we learned a lot about this Giants football team in that second half and how they fought back and how they didn't just accept the fact that, yes, their best player on offense is hurt right now and things of that nature, and Sterling Shepard going down. They didn't let that affect them. They came out in the second half, played hard, and gave themselves an opportunity to win the game at the end.
Absolutely. You got to practice how you play. You mentioned how he stopped down that practice and he stopped down this game and said, hey, let's go out in this second half and do better. Coming up after the break, we're going to hear from Giants quarterback Daniel Jones. That and much more to come here on Giants Postgame Wrap-Up, presented by Mercedes-Benz. Giants TV is the official connected TV app of the New York Giants. Available for free now on Apple TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and inside the Giants mobile app. Stream game highlights, interviews, TV shows, and more exclusive video content with Giants TV. Today's scoring drive of the game is brought to you by Investors Bank. Get the official New York Giants checking account only from Investors Bank. Visit investorsbank.com/Giants for more details. This drive starts off with Daniel Jones under pressure, getting taken down by Robert Quinn. He gets creative, flips it to Dion Lewis, who runs for the first down and then some. Then we head back to Daniel Jones, who uses his own legs to get that yardage, gets the first down, moves the Giants down the field. 4th and 1, Dion Lewis punches it in to put the Giants on the board. They go 17-10 is the score in the fourth quarter. 11 plays, 95 yards, 4:39 off the clock, capped by that Dion Lewis 1-yard touchdown run. Welcome back to Giants Postgame Wrap-Up presented by Mercedes-Benz. Now we're going to head down to Daniel Jones, who's addressing the media.
Hey, Daniel, how frustrating was it to turn the ball over early? And then conversely, how did you feel about how you guys responded as a team in the second half to your first half?
Yeah, tough first half for us. I'd like to go back and look at the turnovers, and certainly got to do a better job with that. So, we came out in the second half, and we responded as a team. I thought we were able to, play some complementary football with the defense coming up for us and making big plays, and the offense, able to move the ball and score some points. So, ultimately we ran out of time there at the end, but we responded, and we certainly got to start better.
What was Judge like at halftime?
He was, we were all motivated. I think we all know what we're capable of, and he certainly does, and that we're capable of much more than what we put out there in the first half. So, that was the message, and I think guys heard it and responded there going out in the second half.
Victor, what are your initial reactions hearing from the quarterback after this loss?
Well, you can see that he's a little, upset or just taken aback at the loss. You can tell by the look on his face. But I think it shows that he's resilient. I think it shows that this team can really fight and battle, and they know what they have, even with some key injuries in the first half and having just a half that you just want to flush down the toilet, right? You just don't want to think about it. You want to go in the second half and play a different game, a different brand of football for the Giants. And I think Coach Judge really got them to that place. Whatever he said at halftime, I need him at home with me when I have a rough day, because he got them out of that funk, and that second half was a whole different story. But Daniel Jones knows it's a long season, and he has to keep himself prepared and keep himself, focused for the weeks ahead.
This is the first game of Daniel Jones's career that he did not throw a touchdown pass. His first 13 career starts, he had 4th longest streak in NFL history, each with a career touchdown pass. But seeing how he's able to use his legs and be versatile as a quarterback, what does this say to you for the future of this franchise with him at the under center?
Well, I think they have to just continue to find ways to use his legs more. Obviously, with the injury to Saquon, you're going to have to find different ways to curate some of these runs and some of these running style plays that you probably don't have with Saquon Barkley there. So moving forward, they're going to have to just, obviously, the tail of Daniel Jones is his accuracy, the way he passes the ball, the way he gets the ball downfield, his accuracy, pass catchers catching the ball for him in space and making things happen. But I think Daniel Jones is just going to have to put a lot more onus of each game and the offense on his shoulders a bit in order for them to have a chance come week in and week out.
All right, well, we're going to continue to break this one down after this short break. Stay with us here on Giants Postgame Wrap-Up, presented by Mercedes-Benz, the official luxury automobile of the New York Football Giants.
Hey, James, can you describe to us how you made that interception? And then just what did you think of the defense's overall day, plus and minus?
Well, I was in man-to-man on that side of the field. Gave me an outside release, tried to get hands on him at the line. Then, I felt the ball in the air. Of course, I didn't see it because I had my eyes on him, and I was going to make a play through his arms, and I just happened to be in the right spot at the right time. I was able to get one hand on it and pull it through as I came to the ground. And overall, as a defense, as our performance went, I feel like we played real well in the second half. We just got to start off faster in the first half. That's all that is.
Welcome back to Giants Postgame Wrap-Up presented by Mercedes-Benz. That was James Bradberry. Victor, of course, who had one of the 2 interceptions on Mitchell Trubisky. Julian Love had another one. 3 sacks on the quarterback. How would you describe the importance of the defense in this game?
Extremely important. I think they came out in that second half and really proved who they were and what they wanted to accomplish, probably the entire game long. But Bradberry, 4 tackles, 4 passes defended, an interception, a great interception as we just saw. I think the defense really stepped up in the second half and proved who they were. It's just a little too late at the end.
Too little too late indeed. Now, there are injuries in this game that we've talked about. Giants will face the 49ers next week, who are going to stay on the East Coast in between the back-to-back games at MetLife. But the Niners, Nick Bosa, Solomon Thomas carted off the field in this game today against the Jets. Jimmy Garoppolo's hurt, Raheem Mostert, Kittle, Deebo Samuel. What are your anticipations of this matchup?
It'll be interesting to see who lines up for the 49ers next week and who's actually out there playing. Obviously, when you look at our injuries and you look at them, you're like, well, we're not doing so bad. I mean, they had 7 guys, starters and key guys for them kind of go down this week. So we'll see what we have in store. But they still beat the Jets today, 31. They put up 31-plus points today against the Jets. So we'll see exactly what team goes out there. But either way, no matter who lines up, the Giants have to be ready to play and act as if Jimmy G will be out there and work backwards from there.
Absolutely. And, of course, San Francisco with a 31-13 win over the Jets. All right. Well, this also, you guys know at home, we are here with a new show and a new time on MSG Networks, 11:30 p.m. on game days. After you've watched a full slate of games on Sundays, hang out with us for Victor Cruz.
We'll be right here.
I'm Madelyn Burke. We'll be here. Tough one this week in Chicago. But you know what? We got another one next week. We'll see you then.